So today I'll show you how to factor. One of the ways you can factor is common factoring. So our equation we had was 16x squared subtract 28x subtract 30. So we know that 16, 28, and 30 are all even numbers, and all the common factor that they have is 2. So we could divide each of these by 2. 16x squared divided by 2 gives you 8. Negative 28 divided by 2 gives you negative 14 because it's a negative number. And negative 30 divided by 2 gives you negative 15 because it is a negative number. So since we divided by 2, we put this coefficient outside because that's what gives us the numbers at the top we have over here. So it would be 8x squared subtract 14x subtract 15. Notice how you cannot put the x over here where the 2 is because 15 doesn't share, and if we did put the x there, then the 15 would have an x, but that equation would not make sense. So that's how you common factor. Another way we can factor is called perfect squares. So we will factor the equation 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. So first we put the squared, x squared, because we want to square root it, so we get rid of the square over here. And it's 2x. So when we square root it, we get 2. This is going to be our first term. And then we have the 9 over here. So this can be square rooted as well. And when you square it, you get a 3. And this is going to be our second term. Now, when we put this together, we will get bracket 2x plus 3, and you square it. Now, to check if this makes sense, you would just expand it. So you could do 2x times 3 times 2. So 3 times 2 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, and the x is there. See, we got 12x, which was a middle number, so this means it is right. That was how to factor perfect squares. And the last thing that we can factor are differences of squares. So, difference of squares. So our equation that we have is 16x squared take away 25. So we're going to first get rid of the square sign at the 16. So to square root it, when we square root it, you get 4x. And then we want to do negative 25, square root it as well, because we want a square, perfect square. And when you square root it, we get 5. So since this was our first term, it's going to say our first term, and this is going to be our second term. So now, when you put it together, you're going to write 4x plus 5 and 4x take away 5. Notice how we couldn't put a square here because this is a subtracted sign, and you can't put a square over here because you have a negative 5 and a positive 5 in both. So that's how you would find the difference of squares. Thanks.